Hello guys, this is Kimitsu. In this video I want to talk about some Redstone quirks which I had to find out when I was playing with the adder from one of my previous videos. So this is the adder I have built in the previous video. It is based off Rock's CLE concept. It was 4-bit, so I have extended it to 8 bits. There it is. Pretty easily extended. I had to add a bunch of repeaters to get the signal going, and in this version, as you can see, I have actually routed it back to itself, and it doesn't like fit to itself in only one input. It fits to both. So basically what should happen here is we should be able to multiply numbers by 2 continuously, and if we turn carry in on, it will actually make us multiply numbers by 2 and add 1. So the sequence will go 1, 3, 7, and so on. So let's check it out. Okay, I need to actually drop this. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so they should like light up continuously, but what's up with this blinking? Well, it's still blinking. Let's turn it off. Yeah, so as you can see on this repeater scope, we see all different kind of numbers jumping around. So looks like we just got ourselves a random number generator. Yeah, so why this happens? The answer is actually pretty easy. So this adder operates on 8 ticks, but actually doesn't do those ticks like simultaneously. It actually makes some bits, calculates some bits first, and then the next, and then the next. Generally, the closer they are to the first bit, the faster they are complete, because there's additional repeaters and additional delay on these lines. Also, in some cases, numbers which don't use carry calculate faster, and sometimes the actual output blinks before it gets the proper answer. So yeah, to fix this we need to synchronize the adder, and that is basically we need to ensure that at each of these gates, so each of these like AND gates, the signal from the input, given the input is simultaneous, the signal gets to each piece of wiring, this space, whatever piece, at exactly the same time from the input. And to do that we need to actually place additional repeaters, or rather line repeaters up like here. So this version I got is actually 9-tick adder. So basically it's done by adding a repeater line over here. Also all of these repeaters are aligned in straight manner just before the line of torches, and there's actually one repeater at each of these things, and one repeater here. So all of the repeaters are lined up in a straight manner, and actually while these bottom repeaters are on 1 tick, the top are on 3. That is because this signal must get to here through the torch and here through another torch, so it takes 2 ticks for the signal here to actually have any influence on the bottom wire, and there's 1 tick here, so in total it should be 3 ticks here. Yeah, so this adder is very synchronized, so it should get us straight and well, not so glitchy result. To test that, I have built the same thing, but instead I removed these wires. I just placed a lever here, so this have become a giant ridiculous counter. So it counts from 0 to wherever in binary, and you can see that is what's going on here. It does count, so all of the major carries, and to actually see the stuff on repeater scope, let's change the scale here. So all of the carries are completely straight, so the result is straight. Let's actually count how fast it goes. So let's see, here's one output: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 till 18 ticks till the next output. So we actually have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 repeaters. Should have been 9 though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, yeah, there's 9. Yeah, so 9 repeaters on this thing. So the adder takes 9 ticks, like 18 minus 9. Yeah, but since it is synchronized, it can actually do faster. All of these gates are synchronized, so in theory it should be able to receive multiple inputs one after another and get us answers subsequently from this output, even if the input comes in packs less than 9 ticks. So to test that, I built this contraption over here. This is the same adder, but it's actually fed by a piston tape. Kinda ridiculous. Let's see what kind of numbers do we have here. 1, 3, 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 8, it is 5 plus 8, that's right, 13. 13 will be, so let's see what's the direction it is. Oh yeah, 13 plus 1 plus, this will be actually 2 and 4. 13 plus 6, so it should get us 19. That's right. Next we have all ones, I guess, so it's 255 plus just 1, actually plus 2, so it should get us 257. And here we have 1 plus 2, 3 plus this was 4, so 8, 11 plus 16, which is 27 plus what was it? 128? No, this actually is 64. So 27 plus 64 is, well, why do I do all this math in my mind? I just can use the adder and see the answer. That's right. Let's do it. So here we have a monostable circuit fed into a clock. No, rather we have a clock here fed into a monostable circuit. So, oops, that was ridiculous. Okay, here we go. So it gives us one pulse every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every 6 ticks we get one pulse, and it drives the piston tape, and we can see our answers hopefully very soon. Here we go. So they come in packs of 6 bits, 6 ticks. So here's our first answer. So it is 16 plus 3, which is 19, right? I do remember something like that. Should have got 19 at some point. And there's 257, and the last sum is actually 257 plus 4, which is 261. So whatever we had there actually sums to 261. That's just great. So as you can see, this adder is 9 ticks, but it can do sums in 6 ticks, which is kind of funny. Let's actually see if it can do faster. But unfortunately, if I make this delay a little bit less, like to make it go each 4 tick, for instance, I'll bump into a problem. This is 4 ticks. Bump into a problem. The actual output would be kind of shitty here. And that is not because of the adder. So let's see, we have 4 ticks here, but it gets into 3 ticks and 3 ticks here. The actual problem here is the piston tape input. If you look at this, we will see that it not just turns on and off, it blinks for some period of time. That is because when piston all that is because how pistons work. So this input doesn't get consistently turned on for 4 ticks, which leads to weird stuff happening in our gates. So to fight that, we need a better input. So let's use this. This is a standard decoder, and we have a bunch of numbers here too. As you might have already guessed, it's kind of painful to decode those. I'm not so familiar with binary, I guess. But just to prove the concept, so I have another thing here which sends perfect pulses each several ticks, and we can see the answers for our sums. We actually do 4 tick sums here, and we do get them, and for some reason we have the last sum to carry on for 1 additional tick, and I don't remember what's the cause of it. I haven't noticed it before. Well, Well, whatever the reason is, this sum was still correct. Let's actually check what this sum does. So we have, here it is. So 1, 4, 3, 7 plus 16. So it's, let's see, 7 plus 16 is 23. 23, and we have 2, 8, so it's 10, and this is 32, so it's 42. So 42 plus 23 should get us... I actually always wondered what's the sum of those two numbers are. So let's see, we have one... that can't be right. This thing is actually 64 plus 1, so it's 65. Is it correct? 42 plus 23, that's right, 65. Perfect, perfect. And the other sums are pretty much perfect too. So let's turn this off. Probably can go faster with this adder, but it probably can't do sums faster than this repeater is set on. It's just maybe it won't be able to activate this repeater if the pulse is too short. So yeah, there you have it. It's 9-tick adder, but it can add in 4 ticks. Isn't that great? Not that you can actually use the output from the adder to calculate stuff in 4 ticks. Let's see what we have here. So I played around with it for a bit, and I made this still a little bit ridiculous binary counter. So it's only one line of CLE which feeds into XOR gate, since you don't need to have an input XOR gate for the counter. All you need is an output. So here we have starter, here we have pause, so we can pause the counter at any point. No, this is actually a reset. Wow. And this is the pause, that's right. So resume it. Very neat, very nice. Of course you can do it much more easily and efficiently by using T flip-flops and a clock, but it's just a piece of technology. And this thing was sent to me by Aminekos as a reaction for my video about his adder. It's actually his 32-bit ALU. Wow, look at the size of this thing. Yeah, it's very nice, but yeah, let's actually look at this adder part here. So it seems like he eventually came to the idea of using stair-like design, just like me. And the only difference here is that he actually has outputs on the other side of the inputs, not 90 degrees turn like we had there, but actually the bottom lines, which are the result from applying the carry to the bits, sort of, get turned 90 degrees and go under the rest of the stuff up to the top, and it's actually easy to throw in an XNOR gate at the end, but there's a little bit of ALU stuff going here, like bit shifting and comparison stuff, so that's actually kind of relieving that he was able to come up with this. Just as I. So let's see here. What's the plan? Oh yes. Yeah, so in his video, Umineko actually calls his adder 8 tick, and I actually mistold it as 9 ticks, but his adder is 8 ticks. So can it be synchronized without adding additional tick like there? Apparently it can. There's a little bit of complication here. You need to place a repeater in the middle of torches, but it didn't turn out to be that much of a problem. It was pretty easily solved by adding another set of repeaters just along this line. And the rest of the stuff is also a little bit adjusted here. So we have 2 tick repeaters here and 3 tick repeaters here, just after this line of repeaters, so the inputs from below actually do get synchronized too. So this thing is synchronized and it's 8 ticks instead of 9. Really nice. So to actually test it, I used this contraption. So it's also a self-feeding contraption, but it's a little bit different. It actually feeds one input like immediately and another input with 4 tick delay. So if you know what this means, this is basically a lagged Fibonacci number generator. It sort of produces a set of random numbers, but those numbers are actually a sum of 2 numbers somewhere previous in the sequence. It's really easy to build in Minecraft. All you have to make an adder and delay one input of the other. So to test it, we need to activate this thing, activate this thing, and this thing is deactivated. So let's run our test. The initial input is just 1 into carry input for 4 ticks, so we can also test how well synchronized our adder is by listening to music. Sounds good, right? Oh. Oops. At some point it doesn't look that good. It's almost as some notes don't fall into 4 tick rhythm. And then they change back again randomly. So like this. Wow, this is going haywire. Uh-oh. So it is desynchronized. Why? Wow. So our synchronized adder got desynchronized after a short period of time. So to find out why this happens, I used a bunch of repeaters to see the actual input, the actual output rather, and see when exactly my output gets additional tick delay somewhere on some bit, and then of course when it's delayed just by 1 tick on one bit it starts spreading, since the adder is self-fed and one bit can actually affect the others through carry. The craziness just starts spreading all the way. I can give it a run, I guess, but while it's going, I'll just tell you the result of my observation. It goes perfectly for a sum at each 4 ticks for quite a long time. But then, at some point, it generates an additional lag, or no, actually it usually gets the answer a little bit too quickly, actually, on some bit. And at each time I run this machine, this bit turned out to be different. So I couldn't catch the problem at exactly one point. So this was a little bit strange, and it required me a little bit of digging to find out what actually happens. So I dug some information resources about Redstone, and here's what I found. The actual problem here, as you might guess, is not the adder. The actual problem is Redstone. And to demonstrate that, I want to show you these clocks here. So these clocks are basically identical. They consist of 5 inverters based on redstone torches, and this gives us, I believe it's called 10 clock. Well, maybe it's 5 clock, but the whole period is 10. So let's see how it runs. We started the clock simultaneously, and they go for 5 ticks off and 5 ticks on. If we observe this clock for enough period of time, unfortunately, we may notice, let's actually maybe speed this up a little bit. Yep, there it is. Do you see that? This clock is now faster than this one. By 1 tick? Well, not exactly. Probably not by 1. Let's check it out a little bit. Let's check it out real quick. No, it's 1 tick. So 1 clock. Oh, nope. Look at this. They're straight. And now it's 1 tick. And now it's straight. And what happens here is actually this clock is faster not but by 1 tick, but by half a tick. And the reason for that is because of random Minecraft block updates. You might wonder what those is. Those are the updates which make wheat grow or leaves decay, and apparently Mojang for some reason made torches be able to receive the same updates, and when they receive those updates randomly, they can actually make more than take less than their normal time to change their state. So the delay of the torch can be negated. or halved. What do I mean by halved? We usually tend to call the delay of a torch 1 tick, but it's actually 2 ticks. Minecraft does 20 ticks within 1 second, and torches take 2 ticks to change their state. So we call that redstone tick, because nothing in redstone does anything for less than 2 ticks. But with random updates, a torch can actually use only 1 tick to change its state, or even 0. I'm not entirely sure about that. But as the time progresses, the delay between this clock can get bigger or smaller, and that's basically random. What that means is you can't trust redstone torches as your clock. Or in this case, we have a bunch of redstone torches in our adder, and when one of them gets randomly updated, it calculates the signal a little bit too fast, and 1 bit can get calculated a little bit too fast, or it can blink, or it can do weird stuff. So luckily this thing does not mean it can take longer to calculate, it just can take faster. But if you're doing some timing sensitive circuit, you don't want to use redstone torches, period. Unless they fix it, because technically it's a bug, or so I think. So in order to address this issue, you can do numerous things. You can use pistons. Pistons are very reliable with their timing, unless you try to do some glitchy stuff. I'm not sure what kind of stuff you can do, but as long as I could observe this clock, it never got desynced. It's basically the same 10 clock. Oh no, it's 9 clock. Yeah, I remember that. It's actually 9 clock. So the actual thing gets 4 and 5, or 5 and 4. What? Yes, it's not 4 ticks. It's actually 4.5 ticks, and this is 4.5 ticks. But in redstone ticks, in Minecraft ticks, it's just 9 ticks and 9 ticks. That's it. What does this mean? That means that pistons don't actually the logic based on pistons doesn't align to 2-tick delimiter. It's just it can do 0.5 ticks easily. Actually, let's try this thing. This is a normal 10 clock. It just gets started by pistons, but instead of torches it just uses repeaters. So this is a normal 10 clock, and it doesn't desync too. So you can use repeaters pretty easily, and they don't get desynced. So what's up with pistons? What kind of delays they provide? Here I have basic setup with a piston powered by redstone wire, and there's another thing here, another torch, so this block will move and we get this signal turned off and this signal turned on. Let's see the timings of this thing. Let's pick a spot. Okay. Nope. Let's try this. Yeah, something like this. So here we go. First tick, we get our signal on. Let's skip a little bit. Okay, the next tick, both this input this output turns on and this output turns off. But is it the same tick? Nope. This is actually 1 tick, but this is 1.5 ticks away from this thing. So we can safely say now, due to this observation, then that turning this off takes 1 tick, and turning this off, and turning this on takes 1.5 ticks. And I have written it down here. Let's turn this off and see what happens. Okay, we have first tick, this gets depowered, and this gets depowered simultaneously. Is it 0.5 tick or something? No, it's actually 1 tick. Sorry, 0 tick, so it's instant. The moment we turn this wire off, the same instant this thing gets depowered. And let's see the timing of this thing. Looks like 1.5 to me. Yeah, it's 1.5, so it's 1 tick delay now, but it's 2 ticks delay now. So it's somewhere between 1 and 2, which means 1.5. Sorry, I had to stop the capturing. Now we know piston timings. Can it help us to figure out why this clock is 9 o'clock? Well, to be honest, no. Because this should take us 1 tick, this should take us, oh actually this 1.5, 1 tick here, and 1.5 here. So one cycle should get 4 ticks, and the other cycle, let's see, 1 tick, 1.5, and yeah, 1 tick. So the other cycle should be 3.5 ticks, but the output really looks like 4.5 ticks. Let's check it out. I built a bunch of repeaters here to see what exactly is happening at each point. So let's see, let's check. So this is 5 and 4, 5 and 4, 4 and 5. So this really looks like 4.5 ticks, right? Yes. But if we look at these things here, so this is 4, 5, 4, let me shift around a little bit. Yeah, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5. So this thing oscillates with 4.5 period, like half period. But here's where we get a little bit weird information. So this is 5, this is 4, this is 4. Let me catch that. 4, 4, 3. Well, how did that happen? Is it somewhere between 4 and somewhere between 3 and 5? Well, maybe the not entirely sure how to explain this. Well, maybe this thing actually oscillates with different period at each cycle, but this thing straightens it up. I just can't seem to find a clear explanation as of now. But there's also something about distance, and here we can see it more clear. So this is pretty much short 10 clock, so there's no changes in the period. But why? Let's see. This piston should, well, when this lever is off, this piston will transfer power after 1.5 ticks. Well, no, not like after 1.5. There's a repeater here set on 4, so 4.5. I mean 5.5, sorry. I keep messing the numbers up. But it doesn't happen. It transfers power right after 5 ticks rather than 5.5. There's a little difference. We power the block near the piston through a repeater, not the redstone dust. So I put down a little test with the same way of powering, and it actually gave me different results. So when we power the piston, here's the first tick, and after one tick both of these inputs invert, outputs I mean. But in our previous test this one's shifted by 0.5. Is it the same case here? Well, no matter how I do that, it doesn't happen. So both of these outputs are 1.5, one tick away from the input. 0.5 just simply disappeared. Let's try this again on the falling edge. So here we go. 0 tick here, 1 tick here so far. Is it 1.5 or 1? Well, no matter how I look at it, it's 1. So I've written it down. All of the 0.5 thingies in these timings disappeared when we powered the piston through a repeater. And I can't explain it too. I'm not sure what exactly happens in this thing, so maybe if anyone knows more, I would gladly appreciate any kind of feedback, like comments, or maybe even, oh, what is that? Maybe even a video response, which would in a more clear and certain way explain why all those different timings are happening. Here's a little bit of test for minecarts. Minecart clock at least somewhat reliable, so they get some time to speed up, and looks like this detector rail activate for about 10 ticks. And as far as I see, those two identical clock never seem to desync. So minecarts are pretty reliable, so if for any purpose you want to use them, you can. There's a little bug though. Sometimes the detector rail doesn't seem to activate for the whole 10 tick period. I'm not sure if we can get this result in this observation, because it happens rather not so often. Oh, here we go. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it activated for half of that time. Maybe it has to do something with random updates too. I'd seriously appreciate if that thing was fixed, because it messes up, potentially can mess up my minecart station system. So yeah, those are magical redstone timing quirks. To fight those quirks in my previous machine, we can use repeater lock hooked up to a clock, which would hold the input for some ticks to make sure that the machine gets the right answer, and that random timing shifts do not affect the input. So let's test this out. Turn off this thing, turn on this thing, and start the clock. Here you go. works pretty fine. So, this is the end of this episode. Thank you for watching.